With the loss to Arkansas last weekend, there is much speculation as to the security of Les Miles' job as head coach. We'll talk about that, as well as get you ready for this weekend's matchup versus Ole Miss.
Also, basketball season is underway, and we've seen much from the big man on campus, Ben Simmons. We'll get you updated on him and the rest of the team.
All that and much more. This is the Wednesday Sports Report. Run it.
Welcome back to the Wednesday Sports Report. I'm Max Hawkins.
And I'm Derek Kopp. Well, Max, only 2 shows left. Can you believe it?
It's been a great experience, man, and I've had a lot of fun doing it.
Good. Well, we're just going to save the best for last, but let's get right into it. All right, so following the LSU's embarrassing loss to Arkansas last weekend, LSU is almost surely out of the playoff picture, regardless if they win their last 2 games against Ole Miss and Texas A&M. As for there will be representation from the SEC in the top 4. It's really starting to shape up for Alabama after their 31-6 win over Mississippi State last weekend. Now, if we take a look at the standings here, we've got the top 4 teams in the nation: Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Notre Dame, with Alabama and Notre Dame each with 1 loss, but still hold strong to their spot over undefeated teams such as Iowa and Oklahoma State. Now, looking at the rest of the rankings, LSU is bumped from its spot at 9 to 15, with its opponent this weekend, Ole Miss Rebels, coming in at number 22. Now, Max, what do you think about these current rankings right now?
I think they got it right now. I believe Alabama's the best team in the country, so we'll see what happens at the end.
I mean, at least we can have some representation. I don't know if I'll be able to stomach rooting for them, but after the Tigers' loss on Saturday left fans and players disappointed with their title hopes dashed for the season, the Tigers unfortunately gave up 440 yards to the Razorbacks as running back Alex Collins ran for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. Floodgates open. Now, Arkansas defense held Leonard Fournette to 91 yards on 19 carries, which also could have ousted tailbacks Heisman hopes for the season. But from the standpoint of earning a chance at the national title, the season is over. But the Tigers have 2 very important games left on the schedule, including Ole Miss this coming weekend.
Going to a road, against a really good team, Ole Miss this week, it's definitely going to be a field that, we have to rebound and bounce back of these 2 losses that we've just taken.
It'll be a momentum builder for us to go on and to get a big win in Oxford. And I believe we're going to get it.
We've been fighting, and we're going to keep on fighting. We just got to be in the game mentally. Like going into this game, we know that they have a great offense, so we know the room for mistakes cannot be big.
Now, Ole Miss comes into the game this weekend with a 7-3 record, with losses coming to Arkansas, Memphis, and Florida. Now, they looked good during some stretches of the season, especially with a road win against Alabama earlier in the year. Their quarterback, Chad Kelly, has 23 touchdowns and has thrown for over 3,000 yards. LSU's Brandon Harris has 11 touchdowns and has just thrown for just under 1,500 yards. Ole Miss is also averaging 40 points a game and 526 yards on defense, according to the ESPN Power Index. 64.8% of people believe Ole Miss will come away with the win Saturday, which certainly would cause a lot of pandemonium down here in Baton Rouge. The Tigers have a lot cut out for them this weekend.
That's right, Max. The scene was a little different after the Arkansas game after consecutive losses to Alabama and the Razorbacks, now in back-to-back years. Now, people are calling the coaching ability of one Les Miles into question, and according to an article in The Advocate, the end could be near for the Mad Hatter, dependent on these last 2 games. But just a week after celebrating his birthday, the atmosphere will certainly be a little different for Miles at his weekly radio show tonight. Now, coming up after the break, we take a look at how ACL injuries have affected LSU football. Stick around. Now, welcome back to the show. Now, football injuries continue to be a dark cloud over one of America's most popular sports. But as LSU cornerback Dwayne Thomas learned firsthand, even the worst injuries can be overcome.
It hurt my heart. During the game, when they took my helmet, I knew it was a wrap.
LSU redshirt junior cornerback Dwayne Thomas saw his sophomore season cut short before he could really get going on September 27, 2014, versus the New Mexico State Aggies. Thomas suffered a torn ACL that required surgery and sidelined him for the remainder of the season.
Some snaps in my leg. At first I thought it was a sprain or something, and then when I noticed when I tried to get up that, I didn't have any stabilize.
Serious injuries, like Thomas's, have become common in sports of all ages. According to the American Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine, there are about 150,000 ACL injuries that occur within the United States each year. Some may blame the rise in ACL injuries to children starting sports so early, but LSU graduate assistant athletic trainer Jordan Serrano Dennis believes it is just a matter of bad luck.
Little space that the ACL sits in is smaller than normal, then it could just be sheer luck and he could tear it.
Thomas returned to the field for the first game of the season at Mississippi State just 11 months after suffering his injury.
God did it for a reason. He's just going to make the leg stronger. I look at it like I have a brand new leg, and I'm still working on it to this day just to make sure that it never happens again.
Even though ACL injuries are becoming more and more prevalent, LSU professor Dr. Ray Castle believes we can prevent many of the injuries by being properly prepared.
To do activities that they're not really prepared to do. I guess more in the physical condition is not being capable. They're just not conditioned.
With every sport and every activity, ACL injuries become a possibility without the proper preparation and approach to the game. But that shouldn't stop anyone from doing what they love.
It just comes down to the love of the game. If they love the game, that's even how these kids are. There's risk of injury every day, every play of the game, but they like the game so much that, it's worth it.
For Tiger TV Sports, I'm Derek Kopp.
After the break, we take a look at the women's rugby team. So come on back.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Now, I think we're experiencing some technical difficulties. We can't show you the rugby package at this time. It is on our website at tigertv.tv, so you can go look for it there.
Back to good news.
Actually,
we do have it.
We have it. So
live TV.
Here it goes. The LSU women's rugby team was absent for 15 years, but now it's making a comeback.
When I came here in 2000, the LSU women's team was just kind of finishing up. They had a really good run.
Sarah Drake is the coach for the team. She's been on the Louisiana women's rugby team for 9 years now.
We realized that we needed to get a college team started. Essentially, they're younger, they're faster, they're stronger, so we wanted to get them started here at LSU. We were finally able to get the ball rolling, and it's starting off a little rocky, but I think it's going to be a successful program here.
Amy Wardine was chosen to lead the new crop of women. She's the vice president and captain of the team.
And we had a really strong board last year that really set the foundation for us, and this year just kind of continued what the group last year started for us. We're always looking for new players, whether you know anything about rugby, it doesn't really matter.
One of those new players is Angelina Boscovich. Boscovich was recruited to LSU to play softball, but turned to rugby when a knee injury ended her career.
I couldn't imagine playing another sport other than rugby because of the family aspect and knowing that the girls next to me are willing to do absolutely anything for the girls next to them.
Coach Sarah Drake says it's the heart, not the skill, that separates the LSU women's rugby team from every other program in the country.
But talk about a group of women that just do not stop. Their calves cramping, they're playing through it. My knee hurts, they're playing through it.
Coach Drake says she hopes to pass her love of the game down to the women she now coaches.
I've never been so nervous playing, but when these girls take the field, I get more nervous. Their successes are their successes, and their failures are my failures.
Max Hawkins, Tiger TV Sports.
Well, Max, got to say, great job on the package. Loved it.
Thank
but
you.
one thing I realized, we haven't really talked about Ben Simmons. Tomorrow we got a big game, South Alabama. That's the first game before we really get this road game going. What do you expect from him?
He's played great so far. First game, double-double, and you went to the second game.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was impressed. He's just like he was, advertised. He's fast. He's tall. One thing we haven't seen him do many jump shots yet. Right. But I think that's good for him to kind of keep his game going, get a lot of inside shots. I think between him and Antonio Blakeney, it's going to be an exciting season for LSU basketball.
Now, the other day I heard a comparison to LeBron James, which is kind of maybe a little too
early
soon to make that.
But for a guy that very well could have his own shoe brand in about a year if things work out for him. And I hope the best for him. Heck, I hope he gets past Sweet 16 this year. I'd jump on that bandwagon any day.
How about Final Four?
Hey,
While we're at it, how about national championship?
It's what we got for not having the football team do well. I'll take it.
Well, that's all the time we have for the show tonight. From wherever you may be, we thank you so much for tuning in. We encourage everyone to go to tigertv.tv to check out more coverage of our fine work.
Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ttv_sports for more updates. My name is Eric Kopp. He's Max Hawkins. We'll see you next week, Tigers.